Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful. When the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. How are you? It is the 24th of March. And markets once again waiting on stimulus. I'll read the story here from Politico in just a moment. Got a couple of things I got to fix here in my workspace for some reason. I think I didn't save some stuff yesterday. And just come over and check here. The S&P 500 hitting the overnight 5% limit. Coming back now a little bit. They seem pretty hopeful. Anthony, you don't find this yet? Dude, that's great. How are you? Okay, hold on. YouTube is ready. There we go. Okay, so yeah, 5% limit there. ZN, you can see here was the big move up that we had when the Federal Reserve made their announcement, and we're kind of having a hard time holding that level. So we kind of got that. It's really a difficult trade in ZN, I think. I got a lot of weird stuff going on here on my workspace this morning. I'm not quite sure what the deal here is. Look, like my ZN. Okay, so for starters, my ZN is only showing 10 market depths levels. There we go. All right, so let's fix that. Next thing is these changes that I made to this chart over here are not taking. So here on the 10-minute, I had the high box thing, and then the wick I was putting to 0. So I'll do that. That's much better. But like, are my indicators gone? Like, what happened to my indicators? Oh, it says it's there. It says it's there, but it's not showing up. That's so effing weird. Do I have auto scale on for these? Yeah, I do. That's kind of weird. Let's see here. Ref 5 on this one. Oh. Reload all historical data. Something's wrong.
Bot says, have you checked or unchecked visible on your missing indicators?
There we go. While it's loading there, well, let's reload it first. It sure is weird, right? They were there. They were definitely there before. Okay. What? No, that's not right. That's not right at all. Oh my gosh. Like, they give them back. They're back, but no. Sorry, no. The SMA is not all the way down at 2810. Oh my gosh. You know what? Like, I'm gonna save this workspace because I made that change, but I think Ninja Trader is just jacked up. Oh, actually, let's close this workspace too, by the way. Yes. Ninja is just all messed up. I don't know. There's something wrong with my machine because when I read that last message out by John too, it was like really slow. Turn off Gmail. Gmail tends to be a hog. Okay. In the meantime, let's read this political article, shall we? Mnuchin and Schumer say coronavirus rescue package deal is very close. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said that they are very close to an agreement on a nearly $2 trillion coronavirus economic rescue package, raising the possibility of a Senate vote on the legislation as early as Tuesday. That would be today. Following a series of late-night meetings in Schumer's office in the Capitol and a phone call with the president to review the status of the discussions, Mnuchin and Schumer told reporters around midnight that they hope to have a final agreement in place in the morning. Aha. Failed to verify license. Shoot. You know what that means, right? Why is it doing that to me? Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. I will finish reading. There are still documents that are going to be reviewed tonight and turned around. And there's still a couple of open issues, but I think we're very hopeful this will be closed out tomorrow, says Mnuchin. Well, Donald Trump sent a late-night tweet that appeared to slam House Democrats over the demands for a rescue package. Mnuchin claimed it wasn't related to his own discussions with Schumer. I think the president was commenting on a lot of the issues the House has added in that they'd like to have Mnuchin added. We've been speaking to the president. We've probably spoke to him 10 times a day. We kept him involved in all the details and where we are. We're working at his direction, and the president would like to have a deal. Oh my gosh, Ninja Trader, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Schumer, who has been consulting closely with Speaker Nancy Pelosi, supposedly, throughout the talk, said, "We expect to have a final agreement tomorrow." Stop it. According to three sources, Mnuchin had agreed to a key Democratic demand for strict oversight over a $500 billion exchange stabilization fund designed to lend money to corporations and municipalities. Senate Democrats had attacked the entity as a slush fund under the initial Senate GOP proposal, which had no congressional regulation and allowed Mnuchin to withhold information on who received loans for 6 months, which is a totally reasonable thing, by the way. If you're going to give somebody an emergency loan, I don't think that the public needs to know. And I think that telling the public probably hurts the chances of that company being successful. But if it has congressional oversight, that's cool. I don't think that the rest of us need to know that. Schumer also said Mnuchin had agreed to a quote-unquote Marshall Plan for hospitals to help respond to the growing coronavirus crisis. Senate Republicans had offered $75 billion for hospitals, but Schumer and Pelosi sought hundreds of billions in additional funding. Okay, so that's the gist of that. There's more here, but nothing really particularly relevant to us. Man, something's definitely jacked up. Oh, because I just clicked it to read. You read.
Bot says you might need to do a complete reboot of your system.
There we go. Now I click it. Yeah, so here's what I think is going. So if I come here and I go to ninjatrader.com, it loads right up. What the? Normally it's DNS issues. Well, let's try opening NinjaTrader one more time. If it doesn't work, then we're restarting. But the YouTube reader is way slow for some reason. I click something. I just clicked it. I can see it's trying to read it. I can see that it's trying to read it, but I'm not hearing it out of the speakers yet. Oh, that's...
Anthony Monroe says shut up and drive.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to reboot. That's okay, because if I stop and I come back, the stream should be okay. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna restart. All right. So I'm gonna stop streaming here. I'm gonna click the button and I'm gonna restart, and I will be back on my computer. Well, I'm gonna wait for NinjaTrader 8 to die first. Close that. This sucks. No. Okay, so I'm gonna restart. Okay. So we're back. You still with me, boys? You still with me? No, you're not. Hit refresh. That might help you guys get back faster. Man. So let's start the text to speech reader first, all right? Okay. That little key there is the chat key. It's actually a public thing that everybody can see. Just so you know. Just so you know. If you wanted to write a bot that wrote something to our chat, you would need that key. Okay. Now let's try this.
Speculator Seth says test.
Excellent. Oh, I forgot that I have it reading me out in British all the time. All right. Well, so let's try NinjaTrader now. Might get some dropped frames and so forth here. I don't need that. That needs to be deleted. Okay, well, NinjaTrader's not complaining about not being able to find the what is the word? The activation server. So that's good. Now let's just hope that our chart loads correctly now. Mm-mm. What the fuck? Okay. Man, that is so weird. Why does it think that a 1 minute volume weighted average? Well, it's not a 1 minute; it's a certain time period. But why does it think that it's all the way down there? It's doing it on this other chart over here too. You see? Oops. This one up in the upper right. This is doing it over here too. Well, we could try reloading historical data again. Let's fix this chart right here. Bitcoin back up to 7,000, huh? I don't know if they can hold that. Okay. I think everything's loaded. So you know what is kind of interesting about this market today is that I'm noticing oil is very much up in line with ES today. They seem to be trading together a little bit. Reload all historical data. It could be this chart. I only have it set to show like 1 day. Tick replay. That's for sure. All right. Well, we just can't worry about it. I wonder, do I even need tick replay on this chart? Oh, yes, I do, because I have that volume point and control thing. Okay, well, guess what? Because until that gets fixed, and maybe if we just let it play out here for a couple of bars, maybe it'll fix itself. But until then, I think they were just going to have to stick to our good old reliable treasuries. Now, good old reliable treasuries sitting down at the low of the day. Don't know if they're ready to go through. Also, while I'm thinking about it, I need to write something up here. Somebody was wrong on the internet about something, and I can't help it. Well, the E-mini sure is moving around a lot. They're gonna go back up to that limit. They're awfully close. They came awfully close. It's going to be interesting if we actually open on the up limit today. So that's one that we haven't done yet. And will they do the same thing that they've been doing on the downside? Where they immediately flip? There it goes. Somebody's trying to stack it up there on the limit. 23, 33, 50. People are selling into them, but they're still bidding it. Look at that. Ooh, what a fight. What a fight, boys. This is kind of a fun fight. How much traded there? Almost 1,000? Almost 1,000 contracts. Well, I don't know if you're still there, John, but that's pretty messed up, right? Like, I don't know what you got to do to fix it, but it's super weird. I guess one thing that I should do is I've got this volume profile here, and the color that I'm using for my profile is way too dark. I prefer like maybe a dim gray. That's a little better. I think that maybe even what is the default? How about regular gray?
Gary Rich says, Seth, you have to do an apology video to YouTube and Google. They are shadow banning you bad.
Yeah, well, not only am I still shadow banned from search, but I had some issues with the stream. So you might have come here and had trouble loading the video. Let's just check and see what they're doing. Alpha Gaming copyright strikes are out of control. Yeah. It's not just the copyright strikes, though, man. Well, look, yesterday's stream shows up. Just not our live stream. What the fuck? Look at the SMA. Ninja Trader. What the heck? They actually That's so funny. I wonder. Well, hey, so hold on. Let's go and see here. Did we get? Oh, I don't see any.
Gary Rich says gotta love that Ninja Trader. Lol.
Right? I don't know what I did that. I think it's the demo data. I think it's because I'm getting it from the demo data. It seems to me that they're not. And I'm also wondering, well, so what if I do this? Let me do that. Let's try reloading the historical data again. I think some of it was I wasn't getting it all from wasn't necessarily getting it all from CQG because I did have the kinetic end of day stuff in there. That might be it, but I don't know. Every time that I've reloaded the historical data, it's a little bit different though. So I don't know. It's super weird though, right? Hmm. Mm-mm. Man. Not helping. Well, at least my my chart over here and my chart over here are showing the same thing. But what the heck? I also my level 2 changes indicator's not really working either. Okay. Have an idea. I have an idea. Yes, I'll save it. Save the workspace. We're going to come in here and we're going to do the last resort. Cache. Delete all the things. DB. I can just delete the DB, can't I? I think I can just delete the folder. Well, I'm just going to delete everything inside of it. Oh, look at how big it's gotten. I do think there is a point at which the cache just or the historical data that you've got just gets too big. I mean, look at that. That is ridiculous. Just reading these Reddit comments. Is dollars and GDP all that matters in equality of life? Pretty sure my grandmother who lived through the Depression would agree with you. Society and quality of life is better off when we work together and care for one another above all, not when we're deciding who should live and who should die for all some green paper. I thought conservatives were Christians, but I'm pretty sure that that is something Jesus addresses. Well, first of all, no, it's not. But second of all, listen, there's a point. It doesn't change the cold math of it. Doesn't change the math. Tens of thousands of young, healthy people in their 30s will die if this is allowed to run unchecked. Well, nobody's saying that it should be run unchecked. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's restart Ninja Trader. I have a really big problem with the attitude that we can spend we should do everything possible to save every life. Shut
Gary
everything
Rich
down.
says when we used Ninja they would recommend to empty our cache. When you have lots of charts with lots of data points.
Yeah.
High cache.
Yeah. Anyways, I just don't agree with this idea that we should just sacrifice absolutely everything in the pursuit of lives, because some of those lives just can't be saved. You know what I mean? And there's this point at which you're spending more and more money and you're not actually saving lives anymore. And the idea that we don't need to go and actually calculate things out because the saving the lives is the only thing that matters is just wrong. And when you do that, you're essentially making a decision blind. Making a decision blind, and what's going to happen 6 months from now is they're going to come back and they're going to say, "Oh, actually, you know what? We didn't need to do X. We didn't need to do Y. Oh, we probably should have done Z." And we could have said, "Oh, well, if we had done the math 6 months ago, we would have known that." But you guys don't want to do the math because your feels. Screw your feelings. That's not how you make decisions. It's just not. Sorry. It bothers me. It's like, yeah, maybe this one guy gets to live an extra year of his life, but at the cost of what? There's just I just don't think that it's true that you'd give absolutely everything for it. If it was you, if you were the one that was personally sacrificing, would you sacrifice everything in your life? Maybe you should, but I'm pretty sure that most people would not. Pretty sure most people would not. Most people probably would not just say, "Okay, if I will die, I will allow myself to die today if it saves one coronavirus patient." You wouldn't do that. Am I wrong? Okay. So it has reloaded the data. Some things are better, but my oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh. What the fetch? Uh, it's just so weird. The demo data is jacked up. It thinks that the volume went down at 2255 and not 2325. Do you see that? Now that I'm getting new data, then look, the point of control jumps back up there. But it's saying that the point of control for these past bars was down there. No, that's weird. It's wrong. It's not even, my SMAs and stuff aren't even showing up again. And this chart over here is really jacked.
Gary Rich says life's hard. I'm hardcore. My dog stops functioning. She gotta go. I can always get another one.
I mean, here's the thing. Let's draw a picture. Here's what I think that this would look like if we did the numbers. I don't like sitting down and saying this is what you're going to find when you do the numbers, because that kind of almost suggests that you're not capable of doing the math in a way that's unbiased, right? But over here, let's say that this is years of life saved. Yols. Okay. That's the y-axis here. Okay. And the x-axis will be GDP sacrificed.
Gary Rich says I think we need to have a test for people. You fail, you gotta go.
Okay, Gary. Now you're starting to sound a little bit like a communist. Okay. So, if we don't spend any GDP, then we're not going to save any lives. Supposedly. Okay. In fact, if we take GDP out of the economy and out of medical stuff and put it the other way, so we don't sacrifice GDP, it may actually be the other way. You might get something like this. Okay. So then years of life saved, you're going to get something like this. Probably a little bit of GDP might have
Spencer
a really
Long
big
says
benefit
morning.
at first. Right? Might have a really big benefit at first. But as you spend more GDP, there's going to be a spot at which you're no longer saving more lives. Right? There's this limit, right? Where you're spending exponentially more amounts of GDP and not getting any benefit from it. Right? So you kind of have this curve. You can sit and you can optimize on it. Right? You can sit and you can say, right here. This is the amount that we need to spend. Da-da-da. That's the optimal amount. Where you optimize the two things. You minimize the amount of GDP sacrifice and you maximize the amount of lives saved. Right? Because if you sit down and you say, years of life saved is all that matters, well, guess what? You can spend infinite amounts of money. So that's not a reasonable thing to say. And people think, because they're just going off of their feelings, life is all that matters. You should never be sacrificing, no sacrifice is too much to save lives. Look at the chart. That's stupid. That's stupid. Because you could spend infinite amounts of money, not save everybody. You have to make a decision about the spot at which it's enough. You spend $1 million per person? $1 billion per person? $1 trillion per person? Probably. If you spend $1 trillion per person, the United States would not be a country much longer, right? Okay. I'm sorry, but there is a limit. There is a limit. Y'all can, you guys aren't arguing with me. It's people on Reddit, but it's mostly liberal people. Look, you can be self-righteous and pious about it, but it doesn't change the fucking math. It's logic. Sorry. There's a limit. Find it. Do the math. Find out the limit. Make the right decision. No. Don't want to do that. Too hard.
Gary Rich says the last 3 to 5 years of life. One spends way more than ever. What a drain on GDP and pocketbook.
Well, there is something that society did not seem to deal with increased life expectancies very well, did it? Because we set up Medicare. Medicare didn't account for it. There's all of these millennials not really getting the job promotions that they probably deserve.
Gary Rich says you laugh at me, but it's a true statement and statistic.
One spends way more than ever. Well, you're saying that if you let them die, that that GDP is just lost. I don't think that would necessarily be true, though, because that money would just go to their kids, and their kids would spend it. Or are you saying that they spend it on medical expenses and that those are lost costs? Lost costs. If it's their money, they can do whatever they want. I'm just saying that when you look at the math, you realize that people are setting us up for a
RJ Wheel says
situation.
Marriage. No way they'd have right until death if they lived to 80 instead of 30 when they wrote that.
It took me a second to understand what you were saying there, RJ Will. People wouldn't have been willing to say till death do we part if they had known how long they were committing themselves for.
Gary Rich says look up the stats on what a person spends in medical cost on the last years of their life. It's unbelievable.
So here's a question related to that. Apparently the Democrats want this Marshall Plan for hospitals. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think it means that they're going to give hospitals a ton of money to upgrade their medical equipment and things like that. Do you think that a Marshall Plan for hospitals will reduce the cost of healthcare in the United States? I'm a little skeptical. I think one of the reasons, well, there's two real reasons. One is that there is no cost saving in the United States, right? We go with that attitude of you've got to do everything you can. So they will spend tons of money on things that are pointless, which if it was your money, that's okay. But then you inflate the cost of healthcare when you start doing that. And it costs it to everybody that's on the insurance, right? So the insurance would normally make it that call, at which point it no longer makes sense for the system for us to be putting more into this particular individual, right? But then there's the whole thing about that there's not actually real competition because the hospitals and the insurance companies make agreements. I think that if you just sat down and you said you're not allowed to do that, you're not, a hospital and an insurance company are not allowed to enter into an agreement, that would make things, because I really hate the idea that you've got to be careful which hospital you go to because you'll, what is the word? Well, you get what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. Man, I am just flying blind over here in the E-mini. I wonder what happens if I turn off tick replay on this chart. It fixes it. And then if I come back and I turn it back on. I'm not quite sure why I have tick replay on that chart. It must be the limit up that's screwing it up.
Gary Rich says Seth, your employer is subsidizing your medical cost. What if you had to buy your own? You would think totally different about the business.
Well, they subsidize it. Yeah, I guess. I mean, but that's the thing is like you're so insulated from the cost. Like, I don't know. Like, so let me back up because there's another thing that I feel that I kind of came out from doing. Excuse me. Hold on a second. I'm just like looking over here at this chart and I'm like, wow, That don't make no sense. Oh, it's because I tried turning the tick replay back on. It's definitely tick replay is jacked up on that data. Okay, no. So when we had a baby, okay, and I'm sitting there and people say, "Oh, it only used to cost like $50 to go and have a baby, and now it's like X $1,000." I actually, it's looking. I don't think I've gotten all the bills back yet, so I don't want to speak too soon. But it's looking to me like I actually oversaved for the baby. That I'm gonna have some left over. And when I think about what happened and what they did, I feel like I got a good deal. Like first, the birth itself was quite traumatic. I passed out. They had to cut my wife open to do it. Like that whole thing, just that whole thing was like, wow, that doctor was really skilled, knew exactly what she needed to do. There's nurses there. The nurses, man, it's so rough. Like because babies stay up all night, right? So you have to have medical staff that's available 24/7, and so they have to they just end up working long shifts because that's the only way to do it when you got to be there around full time, you know. And then they literally are wait on you hand and foot. Like they're there, they're like, look, the reason that we're here is to take care of you. And yeah, they have other patients, but they make the rounds to everybody. And so if my wife needed something, was concerned about something or whatever, they were always there.
Gary Rich
Always
says,
there.
let me explain the medical insurance industry. Each state has an insurance
Yeah,
commission
I
which only
know.
allows certain
Totally
ones to do
understand
business
that.
in that state.
Listen, Gary, I work for a healthcare exchange. I understand how it works. I have to program all of the different rules for, the different types of Medicare insurance that you have. I have to program all of the rules that allows our insurance salespeople to be accredited to do the insurance in every state. I understand all that stuff. Okay. Anyways, to me, it's like we stayed in a hotel for 3 days with like personal servants. That's what it felt like. That's worth
Gary
money.
Rich says if we were allowed to buy plans across state lines, it would drive costs down over time. Why can't we be allowed this?
Well, because the Democrats will say that then you would. Let me rephrase. You can't do this because some states have stricter regulations than others, and the Democrats love the stricter regulations, and they would rather force everybody to adhere to those regulations. But since they can't, they would rather just force the people that are in those states to adhere to those regulations. You're right. If they forced it across state lines, maybe there would be competition. But was going to something even more simple than that. In my state, there isn't even competition between hospitals because not even really competition between insurance providers because you can choose to go with United or you can choose to have like really a bad time. Like I wouldn't go with anybody other than United in my state unless I really didn't think I was going to have any medical costs because the other guys like have almost no providers throughout the valley. They have such domination on it. Anyways, I don't think that they should be allowed to make a deal with the hospital because what happens is that they say, okay, the hospital says, okay, this thing costs $50. But the insurance providers, they want to deal with us. And if we make a deal with them to make it like $45, then that's too cheap. We don't make money off of that. So instead, what we'll do is we'll say that the cost is $60 and then say that with that insurance provider, it's 50. And then we're making the same amount. But then anybody that's not with that insurance provider pays the 60. Well, that's not too big of a problem because only the people The only people that are going to be here are going to be that people with that one insurance provider anyways, right? So what have you done? You've created a monopoly.
Ace Trade says who broke the S?
You've destroyed the you've destroyed the free market at that point. Yeah, Ace. So they were able to hold a limit up. It's funny because it was like limit up, and they've been able to sell it down a couple of times. But they seem to be. I think the buyer is doing the same thing that the seller was on the downside. Can we talk about this again? They need to change the overnight limit, man. If there's an overnight limit of 5%, there should not be a circuit breaker at 7. Because they have every incentive
Ace
now
Trade
to
says why
boost
limit
it
up
to
something?
7.
I get the limit down.
I don't know. There aren't circuit breakers on the upside. So maybe that's why people were more willing to sell it, because the buyers can only get so much out of it. We'll see how high it goes when they open. Here's the thing. Going back to the Democrat negotiation going on in Congress right now, right?
Gary Rich says no change. I want freedom to let markets price discovery.
Well, you can't have like when the insurance company and the hospital are allowed to make deals that destroys price discovery. The administration made that law that forces you to publish your prices online, but it still doesn't work because you're giving certain people a different price. And when you do that, you prevent the individual patients from going to wherever they want and shopping around, because they're locked in by the insurance. Sorry. The fact that the deals that the insurance company and the hospitals are making is a bigger problem than the selling across state lines. Because I can't even get real competition just within my state. There's one healthcare provider
Gary Rich says,
that
sorry, I
completely
love the
dominates
futures
it.
markets, not Heathcare. I have a different view on HC.
Oh, no change. I want the freedom to let markets price discovery. Oh, I see. Okay. You want to get rid of the 5% limit then? Wouldn't you say? I don't know. Here's the thing: is like in the E-mini, I say that if we're moving 5% in the E-mini,
Gary Rich says yes.
yeah. I feel that if we're moving 5% in the E-mini, that there's something fundamentally wrong with the market. And I don't mean like something fundamentally wrong with the market, like
Sebastian Marquez says hi, Seth.
you know, the markets are really bad. Hey, Sebastian. I don't mean something fundamentally wrong with the markets, like oh, the economy must be really bad or something like that. I mean, there's something fundamentally wrong with the markets, like there's no liquidity and price is not moving the way that it would in a well-functioning market. I don't think that a well-functioning market should ever be able to move more than 5%, at least not in ES. The economy, the value of the economy, the value of U.S. companies doesn't change 5% in one day. It doesn't. It doesn't. And the only reason it's able to move this far is because of all the liquidity pulled. So in that case, when that's happening, I say that you should hit the circuit breakers. If it's just moving because of low liquidity, because the problem is if you don't put the circuit breaker in, you could go to zero, and then what are you going to do? And then you got to get you go to zero when it's unjustified, but that's the kind of situation you can create if market makers just can't hold anything. So I'm okay with a limit, but the problem that I have is this game right here, where, okay, well, if we can get it to the limit, then what we should do is we should stack this huge bid underneath of it and squeeze everybody, because the shorts can't get out. If you went short, you're stuck. You can't puke. That's not okay. And then they force you out up here. So like, it's not just an issue of price discovery. The mechanism does the exact opposite of what they intended. I still get a lot of plosives. I was hoping this microphone would fix the plosives. It's okay at it, but it's better than the other microphone, but I'm speaking more directly into this one. Anyways, it's really is like messed up. I don't know. Something about this needs to change. This limit up, limit down thing in particular needs to change.
Gary Rich says markets price forward risk. Those who take on too much risk with leverage let the pain occur. Pain is good for the soul.
What are you going to do when you get a permanent flash crash? If that hasn't already happened, I feel like we're in a permanent flash crash. Still only putting 250 contracts up on the 10-year. You know? You can't trade in that.
Andre Santos says good morning all.
Good morning, Andre. It looks like we got everybody. Earlier it was like, man, I screwed the stream up and everybody's gone and we're throttled. But now I think almost everybody's here. Who are we missing? Well, we haven't seen Lucas today. Haven't heard from Uzi. Uzi's probably there, but just listening. No, maybe he's probably doing some work. I don't know. Like with his limit up, like I don't know. When I come in now and I see limit up, I'm kind of like, well, I'm not trading today. Not taking live trades at least. Even after it opens, and I know that it's up.
Uzi Knesset says I'm here just quiet face with
Oh,
tongue.
see, I knew it. I wasn't sure. I was like, he's either just not saying anything or he's like helping somebody with something. There's not much to say. I tell you what. Well, we'll get to see how the market functions with an open at the limit up. That's what we'll call this video.
Uzi Knesset says haven't been trading. Trying to find things to do with all this annoying ass time lol.
Right. Well, and are you like quarantined, social limiting? You know what I've been...
Gary Rich says all this save people from risk or leverage. It doesn't teach them a lesson. Let it come and let those feel it. We are in the risk business. New rules, this isn't granddad's MKT.
Well, okay, sure. But then what do you do about the liquidity problem? I think that things like the flash crash...
Uzi Knesset says we're not quarantined by order, but we are kinda doing our part. The business is shut down till the 31st, so like, nothing to do.
That really sucks, Uzi. I'm sorry. And there's Lucas.
Lucas says mornings, good.
Well, we haven't seen air cages. But now we've almost got everybody. We had literally just mentioned your name, Lucas. We were like, I think we have almost everybody now. Because I had problems earlier in the stream. I'm still having problems. This like limit up is messing with the demo data. And Am still hasn't processed my check. I bet you probably tomorrow or the day after. Because they sent it on Friday. And US mail is usually like 3 days, so.
Lucas says haha, I had less trouble today finding stream.
Did it show it to you on your front page though? I'm gonna bet you it doesn't show it on the front page. No. So back to the subject, Gary. I think the whole thing is like, okay, if you have a flash crash, like I'm okay with a flash crash happening. And I think that's what you're trying to say, and I agree with you. Like there's certain risks, and if you get screwed over by the flash crash, oh, here we go. We open up.
Uzi Knesset says equities are gonna open and rally hard, get people's hopes up, then plummet 3,000 points lol.
Yeah, it could be.
Gary Rich says when are you guys gonna learn? You are in the risk business. Many can't handle it, nor should they get into this business.
Okay. But I think that when they implemented all of these controls.
Lucas says I didn't go through front page, I have your channel on history.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. My recommendation would be hit the subscribe button, make sure you click the bell icon, and then bookmark the permanent live stream URL that's down in the video description. Okay, so anyways, I think that when they made these circuit breaker levels, though, it wasn't that they were concerned that it would go down too much or that people would lose too much money. I think they were worried about like the entire market just completely ceasing to be. You know what I mean? Maybe that's not possible. But when I looked at like what happened
Uzi
during that
Knesset
flash
says
crash,
I'm in the risk business, so I manage risk by not trading like a retard when conditions in my instrument of choice suck donkey dick. Person shrugging.
or let's even just say during this last little bit, like these 7% down moves that we had. If the circuit breaker wasn't there, what reason do the shorts have to get out? Would you allow the index to literally go to zero? That's my question to you, Gary. Would you allow the index to literally go to zero? Because I think the reason that they put this all of this stuff in there is because they said that they decided that would be a complete disaster for everybody, and that should never be allowed to happen. Or even maybe it doesn't need to be zero. Would you allow the indexes to lose 50% in one day? Should never happen. Like, should never happen, meaning like there's never a situation where it would be justified. Right? Maybe it would be a trade, but if it did go down 50% in one day, I guarantee you it would be up the next.
Gary Rich says it won't go to zero, come on man. When price gets low, discovery is found and the other side will come in.
No. But that's not what happens. In a flash crash, that is not what happens. When you start to get that much momentum, there's no reason to put a limit order out there. Why would you step in front of that? Nobody does. The guy that's in charge can just offer as low as he wants. And how far is he willing to take it? Who knows? But it could happen. Let's not say that it could happen. Like, not that it ever will. I don't think that it ever would, but it's possible. And if it's possible in financial markets, then you kind of have to assume that at some point it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Anytime that I think that something is impossible, it's going to happen. I still think that 15% in one day is impossible.
Lucas says I would be worried about the underlying reasons that makes the index go so low, like you have an underlying problem here with algos running wild. With those machines in play, you need some regulation. Uzi Knesset says you share your candle indicator yet? I want to take a look at it.
You mean
Lucas
the thing
says, but still you have to wonder if that's something you want.
Yeah.
Gary Rich says we no longer have humans pulling the trigger, it's machines on machines battling it out. I actually love it. It forces me to get better.
Are you talking about the blue, the expanding candle that I have? So it's not an indicator. It's actually a different data series type. Okay. Let me post it.
Uzi Knesset says yeah.
Let's see if it'll let me. Or how that all works. I need to fix another one because somebody was showing me another indicator and there was a problem with it. And I was like, how is that? Oh, here it is, chart style. export multi-period candles. Save.
Kevin Wimmer says, why do you think 15% isn't possible? We already had the NQ make 14.2%.
I know, but they didn't hit 15%. That's where I'm just like, I don't think that they'll ever do it. I think that the opportunity to do it this cycle is past. But like my whole point was like, I say that it's impossible, but it is possible. Like there's no reason that, I mean, it's possible for it to happen. I just don't think it will happen. And the fact that the market, that it's possible, but that you don't think that it can happen is almost a guarantee that the financial market is going to try and do it at some point. You know what I mean? But I really don't think that, because the thing is with a 15% limit down, they're going to stop it. Then it's going to come back down. You're already so oversold at 15%. Any seller that tries to hold on to a trade
Gary
at
Rich
that
says,
point,
Seth, in 10 years you will begin to think like me. Your whole view will change. Experience a bull and crushing bear MKTS. You get schooled very fast.
they at that point, I think that the seller, you have to be crazy to want to hold that through the stop. You know what I mean? And that's why we stopped. That's why we came short of it last time. Oh, I need to go fix it first. Listen, I've been around. Like I was there. I watched the flash crash. I'm just telling you, sometimes markets do things that are irrational. Okay, we all accept that as traders. Okay, but the question is, can the market do something so irrational that the long-term repercussions are so severe that we have a duty to stop it from happening? And the owners of the exchange and all of the smart guys that handle these things said that there was a possibility of the markets going down too much in one day that they needed to stop. So what you gonna do? So there was a using declaration in here that doesn't need to be there. In fact, this one can go too. Yeah, for me, when that stuff happens, it's just, I'm out.
Gary Rich says, what I mean, Seth has traded tech bubble, 08 smash, bull 10 years, and now I'm a seasoned genius or fool. Lucas says, right, so what I think is solve the irrational behavior of the markets with all this algos. Circuit breakers are just a big cage for them to run wild, but you still want to deal with the animal.
Yeah. Well, and my only point was this. The circuit breaker itself, when you stop trading for 5 minutes and then let it continue back up again, seems to do what it's supposed to do. They will sell through it for a little bit and then reverse almost every time. And when you get to the 15% level, I mean, like, well, even when you get to the 7% level, it creates buying because you really don't want to be stuck in the halt. So people start to take their trades off. That one seems to work the way that it's supposed to. But the overnight limit where they don't stop it, there's just an overnight limit, and then you stop it and you see where they open up at. And then there's another limit at 7%, does not work as intended. It does the exact opposite of what they want it to do. So from the perspective of, we have a tool, because look, I'm not coming in and saying this is the way it should be. All I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, hey, policymakers, you wanted to have a certain thing. You were trying to achieve a certain goal. The rules that you have set up are not accomplishing that goal. That's all I'm saying. Let's export this other one. Indicators. Export levels. Basic. So I wonder, when you put stuff in Discord, can you redo it? By the way, when I like Peter Piper picked a peck of pepper, is that not like that too annoying up for you guys, is it? Do I need to get a real pop filter that's like right here? Is that what we need to do? And cover my face? Oh, I don't think I want to do that. The foam inside of this does not do it as well as I thought. Maybe it's because I'm too close. Maybe I'm fine right here.
Gary Rich says I will always encourage those to get into this risk game. I will not sugarcoat, promise cotton candy unicorn pots of gold. I will explain the pain, suffering you must endure before success.
Hold on, let me do this first and then because I think that there's a bigger point that I think that you're kind of approaching it from a different direction that
Lucas says audio sounds good.
Speak to. But the plosives aren't bad. Like did you even notice that was happening before I said something?
Lucas says not for me.
Okay. Okay, so here's the multi-period candles. Copy link. Okay. Give that a look, Uzi. And then can I...
Speculator Seth says.
I'm going to have to go back and change it. Export levels basic. Okay, well, I'll just...
Uzi Knesset says thank ya, sir.
No problem. I would like you to use it and tell me things that you do and don't like about it and recommend changes. Okay, copy link. So now I have to come in here and fix that link where I got in the video where I was doing it. That somebody took that long for somebody to point out that error to me is a little concerning. But
Uzi Knesset says got it.
Cool. Okay, here's the video. Updated that. Okay, cool. Let me put a comment on this one. So Uzi, one note on that
Fallow
thing.
says thanks, Seth.
When you install it, you have to restart NinjaTrader for it to show up. But to use it, you come in here and you go data series and you say, I want to use multi-period candles as my chart style. But you have to restart NinjaTrader for the chart style to show up. Cool. Okay, so Gary, here's the thing. I think that the whole thing about people taking risks is a good
Lucas
thing.
says Democrats want a cryptocurrency as part of a deal.
Is that really in there? I didn't hear that. No, we as a society have started to shy away from taking risks, and
Lucas
I think
says,
that's
lol,
a problem.
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I think that as a society we've shied away from
Uzi
risk too
Knesset
much.
says, just noticed that, lol.
Like, and as time goes on, especially from people on the Democrat side, they seem to be more and more concerned about taking risks. And America didn't get to where it is today by playing it safe. It didn't. And it just always, it really rubs me the wrong way when I see everybody so afraid to take the risks, you know? So I get what you're saying, Gary. I think there's this kind of idea of like there are some risks that would destroy the system. I don't think that that a 50% move down, or even if it went 100% move down, that would be irreversible. But it would certainly hurt investor confidence, and I can understand why they would want to prevent it. But I don't think that the circuit breaker itself is that big of a disruption, and it seems to work the way that it's supposed to, at least. The overnight limit, though, is so broken. It's so broken. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, when the E-mini opened up, they had a pretty good move up. They come back down. Oh, am I getting a good huh. Wait a second. My indicators still work even without tick replay on? Huh. Let's try it. Some of the things I think I misunderstood. Well, I don't see the pink over on this one, so maybe what it's showing me on that other chart is just wrong. There were so many things in the bill that Nancy Pelosi put up. So here's the question. Is the Nancy serious about this bill, or is it just like a negotiating tactic? You can't believe that they really expect that stuff that they put in that bill to happen, do they? But at this point, I really can't tell. Like, the things that Nancy does just seem so stupid to me. I think that during impeachment, she did a lot of dumb things, for sure. Okay, now we get to see. See, it says at the moment that the point of control was at 23.55. Is that really true? That you traded a bunch up at 23.55? Well, what happened up there? Well, there was a decent amount. I think that they're going to trade more on.
Gary Rich says, you guys know you are high on the risk curve. Many can't do this and they hate US. We are not exceptional, we just make money on the higher curve of risk.
Sure. No, you're right. US has a higher GDP because we take more risks, and not everybody wants to take that much risk. And Americans have always been the ones that have taken it. I dare say that Americans' propensity to take on risk is its defining characteristic that has more to do with its success than anything else. And people are trying to get rid of it.
Gary Rich says, I menace trades, not USA.
Yeah. And it's the same with traders, yeah. I don't know. On the side with traders, I mean, the problem is always that we don't humans are just bad at judging risk, you know? We're just not built for it. That is an issue that everybody is going to have. I think in this situation, to me, like, I want to trade it because I see the opportunity. But as I go through and I try it, the more I realize that as much as I am willing to do it, I don't have that much risk to risk. And that if I take risks in this kind of environment, then I'm guaranteed to blow up. There's 100% chance of Seth blowing up in this market, as far as I can tell, with the way that I like to trade.
Uzi Knesset says this thing pretty smooth, man.
You like it? So here's the thing. If we could change subjects for a second. If I could. I'm going to criticize NinjaTrader here. Big time. Big time.
Uzi Knesset says yeah.
You get on to something different anyways. Okay. So I'm going to add a new chart here. I'm going to use these candlestick plus candles. They're kind of fun. Okay. So here I got a 5-minute chart up here. All right. When I zoom in here, like when I really zoom in, okay. So here's 735. The middle of the bar is 735. Right? Changes this, and here it's the middle of the bar is 740. Okay. So what NinjaTrader has done is they've said this right here is 735, and this right here is 740. Okay. And so you cannot add a multiple time frame sort of a thing on top of this. Like if I wanted to add another data series and say I want the ES and I want these to be 60-minute, right? And it goes and it puts another data series down here. Well, you can't make it expand all the way across because 7 is in the middle here. In my mind, 7 is not in the middle of the candle. 7 is the left edge, right? It comes in, it opened here, came down here, it closed in here. That's the other side of it. And if I want to make the right side expand, then it should just go all the way over here to 8. And 8 would be the side of this candle. But that is not the way that candles work. It seems to me that the way that they decided to write candles is fundamentally wrong. It's fundamentally wrong. Now, boxes are different. Let's change this one to just be a 5-minute, and it will be a box, and you'll see the difference. Okay, so there's the box. Notice how the box is aligned differently, because here's the left side of it. It started at 725. It ended at 735. And you can see that 735, where it closes, is the middle of the candlestick bar. Why don't candlesticks draw the same way that boxes do in that respect? I don't know, but that's the way that they decided to program it, and it's really annoying. So the indicator that I linked you guys, the multiple time frame candles, what it really is it is a candlestick that acts like a box, or you could consider it's a box with tails, right? So I'll show you. I'll add another data series here. 5-minute. Instead of a box, I will use my multi-period candles. I'll just use the default colors and stuff for it. Okay, so do you see? These are candles now, but they line up with the box and not with the candlestick, even though these are like literally the same, right? They're candles. So that's really all I'm doing. And then when you want to do something like you want to make this a 60-minute chart. Oops, wrong one. This 105. This one is 60. There we go. It just stretches, right? This bar starts at 7. It ends at 8. It makes perfect sense. Why doesn't NinjaTrader do it like this by default? I don't understand. So that's why I'm kind of putting this out there as like okay, test it out. You know what I mean? Like, There's got to be a problem somewhere. Well, there is one problem. I'll tell you one problem, okay? No, that's not here. What would be a good one to do?
Uzi Knesset says, lol, that's a good question.
Right. I'll show you one example of where it's it's where their decision to do it based on candles like this becomes problematic. Oh, why am I doing it like that? Okay, so here's the average true range as a bar. Match data series width. Cool. Okay, there we go. Okay, so do you see? This bar corresponds with this candle. This bar corresponds with this candle. Okay, but if I attach it to the other data, if I let's how do I do it? Now if I change the series to this second one, right? It doesn't move. So your candle is here, but your indicator is back here. Kind of weird, right? Kind of annoying. You could change this one to calculate on price change so that we'll get the next bar. Okay. But it's still like it's ahead of this, you see? They don't line up correctly. Super annoying. So because of this decision that they made with candlesticks, and they said, well, candlesticks will do it differently from bars. And so now any indicator that you apply on there is offset. It's kind of annoying. At least with the bars, it's kind of annoying. With something like an SMA.
Ace Trade says it, Gary Rich, oh, that explains why my neighbors won't talk to me or let our kids play together.
Nancy Pelosi says there is real optimism U.S. Congress can reach a stimulus deal in the next few hours. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi sounded a hopeful tone Tuesday about Republicans and Democrats striking an agreement on staggering stimulus package. It really is big. $2 trillion is really big, guys. Not gonna lie. Okay, well, when I got rid of tick replay, that really helped. I find it curious. I used to think, oh, well, you need tick replay for these indicators to work.
Uzi Knesset says my
really.
ATR-based range estimation indicator fits nicely over it. Scales correctly. That's cool.
Yeah. It's like it'll draw offset, but especially if you're using a line or, it's when you use bars in particular that the indicators don't look right. But you can see here on this one, here are my moving averages. They just kind of move along with it, and it's great. And I can tell exactly here now. Okay, in the last 10 minutes, here was the high, here was the low. We're coming up on the open. So that bar just turned negative. We could maybe
Gary Rich says let's pool our money and buy a giant compound in Utah. We get to make the rules. No, I don't want to be the king.
Listen, Gary. If you want to go and make a quote unquote compound, Utah is the worst place to do it. All right. Unless you want to start a polygamous compound, then there's plenty of those around. Oh man. I tell you what. Some of the stories about some of those cults out here in Utah are just insane. It's shocking to me that they allow some of those things to go on. I mean, they don't allow it, but I don't know. The community just doesn't seem to be very good at catching them very early. Because people are just like mind their own business, What's going on inside their house? Nobody cares. It's so disturbing. Well, I don't know if the E-mini can hold these levels or not. So here's a question. Goldman Sachs says 20. Oh, no, wait. We're already. Didn't they say that their target was like 2,000? They moved their target to like 2,000 from 2,450 to 2,000. If we get stimulus, does that change their estimation? I don't think it does. I don't know.
Gary Rich says we get a 501, 503, 504 status, no taxes. Let me be in charge of moral and spiritual smashing. Lol.
The cult of risk takers. You mean the quote cult? Is that? Are we still not so enthused about that name?
Ace Trade says I'm out.
See, AC knows what's up. I'm telling you, man. You don't want to start that sort of thing. Most of all in Utah. Did you take a short there, Ace? From like 2360? 57? That one actually turned out to be a pretty okay, but I'm kind of like...
Ace Trade says I took a long before the open.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Man. So at 7 o'clock you
Uzi
went long?
Knesset says if I had any suggestion for this thing, I'd say maybe price labels for the open high and low?
Price labels. You mean have the price labels show up in the right-hand column of what the open and low, high and low were? They would show up over here. You might actually be able to get those to show up.
Uzi Knesset says yeah.
Let's see if when we come over here, is there a way to get those to show up? Well, there's the label. Okay. I have to look into that. Might be possible.
Uzi Knesset says I mean, outside of that, it works smoothly, very flexible and user-friendly.
Yeah, that was the thing that surprised me so much about it, was how effectively it worked. Because the way that this started was John had an indicator.
Uzi Knesset says but price labels is more of a personal preference I guess lol.
Yeah, I really hate the price labels. I kind of find it a little annoying. Especially the whole thing about which one shows up and everything. Okay, so it's trying to give us a long here, but it wouldn't count because, well, this current 10-minute bar is blue. Sure, let's try it. Okay. They're holding the line okay, actually. Yeah, I could have gotten a little bit better of a price. It's kind of behaving interestingly. Look at that expanding range there. Okay, so there's a seller really trying to push it back into the open of that bar. There's going to be some support there. Yeah. He's insistent. He's like, no, sell it. Oh, no. Well, now I kind of feel like they got him trapped a little bit.
Gary Rich says have you guys priced those GDP, unemployment numbers Goldman, JP have been speaking about? If they come in just half of that, we gonna smash.
Oh, man. I totally forgot about that, Gary. But you're right. The numbers that they have for... Okay, so this one's not working. The numbers that they have for like unemployment tomorrow. I mean, I think that people already expect it to be bad. Actually, let's go and see what they're putting up. See, I think that this one may actually end up working. Yeah, that
AP
sucks.
says what are the light blue and orange lines on your chart?
Those are just moving averages. Of course. I'm kind of getting caught in this thing where, so that one of the issues that I have, especially in a market that moves this far around, and kind of the thing that I think kind of kills it for me, is being able to pick my risk, because I could still be right and it end up moving up again, but they could come all the way back down to here first. And I'm kind of chasing it now. Okay, so where is Forex Factory? What is Forex Factory estimating for it on Thursday? Unemployment claims 1,500K. So they are pricing it in, they are estimating it correctly. Oh my gosh, look at that in the Forex Factory. That's the estimate up there. It's so much bigger than anything else that has ever happened. That's funny. So the question is, how is the market going to react to that? Like, already priced in? I don't know. That one is, I really not quite sure how to predict that one. We're going to have to see how people are positioned going into it, huh? Okay. It's funny how much easier it is for them to go against me than it is for them to go in my favor. I'm starting to notice in the E-mini that when it's making progress, but it's really slow and go, that's actually good. But it's like you lose money so much faster than you make it when you're in the right direction. Maybe that means that we should try and play for the counter trends, but I don't know how to predict those little moves down. Mm-hmm. See. So we barely got them to 25, and look at how easily they get to 25. Okay. We're also kind of in a interesting area where they're trying to turn it short. Okay. Wow, he's aggressive. He's holding it down there a long time. Not really giving us a good in spot. I think might just miss it. I don't know. There you go. Wow. Hmm. I guess not. That helped a little bit. Okay. Hmm. Not willing to risk too much on that one. Their buyers are holding it too well. Kind of interesting. It is pretty slow. Treasury's still kind of pointed down, but they haven't really moved since that initial 630 move. I wonder if yeah. Hmm. Thought so. Damn it. So fucking annoying. Okay.
Lucas says look for pressure points in the S to go with the momentum.
Yeah, maybe we should be trying to do that instead. I don't know. It kind of looks like they're running out of steam here, but you probably
Lucas says
not
pressure
make
points is the
sense to.
strategy you need.
Yeah, it probably doesn't make sense to be trying to stand in front of it like this. So.
Lucas says right here go long.
Right here, go long. Well, hold on. This one's too far. I feel really uncomfortable going along with the long hair. I mean, like at one point it kind of did give us long, didn't it?
Lucas says tight stop.
Yeah. No, it's gotta. The risk reward doesn't make sense. Now on the equity, on the treasury, I kind of see it.
Lucas
But
says out.
see how it's fighting me? I suppose they might go and try and make it to 2380. I still kind of want to fade it. I think that they're going to run out of steam here.
Lucas says yes, too much fight, pressure points don't take so much. But spot those fights when it's less overextended and they are good plays.
Mm-hmm. See, just like this. It's like. Wait. How did I get 6 there? That's not right. The treasuries are bidding back up.
AP says what is your trading strategy?
Well, what we're trying to do here is trying to identify the spot at which the momentum has a potential to shift and scalp a little bit off of it and then see if we can get them to run. But this market moves around so much that I've been trying to kind of more build a position. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Lately it's been working, but today I've just been too off the turns for it to work. And this right here is just like a complete effing disaster. I don't know. This is not really a market where a lot of the things that I try to do work. So I'm just kind of accepted that for a bit and I'm messing around a little bit. These are all sim trades, so. Man.
Lucas says long.
Well, now that one. Oh, hold up. I'm not really able to pick spots. They go back and dump through that 64. Ugh.
Lucas says how is the action as TSYS, Seth?
Well, the treasuries have been better. I'm still getting a lot of these so like the thing that I'm finding really frustrating in the treasuries right now is I will see something that I think is going to go and then it doesn't. But like it never just goes like a tick against you or whatever. It's like they just zip right to 4 to 8 against you. So it's like they want to push it down, they'll push it down and let it come back forward, push it down. And they might do that a bunch of times before you finally, have what you want happen. And
AP says, do you have to pay the professional data rate for streaming?
I do not. I just have a regular retail account.
Lucas says not good trends then.
Yeah, well, since the regular session, it's been pretty choppy. For sure. Like, it's trading a 4-tick range, and there's a trend down, but it's kind of iffy. Like that one, I really thought that they were going to try and go and grab these big orders down here, and they didn't. They immediately turned on me. Like let me rephrase this. I'm continually getting trades in the treasuries. I used to be able to pick it to the tick, and now it's like the opposite. I'll get maybe one favorable tick and 5 against me. Can't get any kind of continuation at all. I'll see a point and I'll maybe get a tick, and then it's like the exact opposite of what's favorable to me so far. Yeah, I think this E-mini wants a new high, but we'll see. They consolidated a little bit, so I think they can do it now.
AP says, would you say Utah is relatively racist?
No. The people in Utah don't care. You're talking about people that have like never seen a black person in their life, dude. They don't harbor any kind of like deep-seated opinion about anything. It's just a novelty when they see somebody that's not white. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I mean, they're kind of basing around like that they're gonna go for it. You see, the problem that I've had with the market coming back over to this chart. See, I was going short around 55, and then I was going or sorry, it was going long around 55 and then it was going short. So I was like offset from the swings. That's also why, like, the first one, you notice I've been coming in, I'll do the first one. I'll only put one order on, and then as I fill things out a little bit, then I'll try adding up to 4. So that does seem to help a little bit. Go, go, go. Cool. Well, that didn't quite cover for our mistakes. It does in the E-minis, but not the bad trade in the 10-year. See if I could get that. Oh, actually. Hold the boat. What's going on here in the 5-year? Have you ever tried the SMB funding? I haven't tried that
AP
particular
says,
one.
have you ever tried SMB funding program? Lucas says, at what time will they release news of agreement or disagreement on stimulus?
I don't think that there's any specified time on it. The thing is I'm a little shocked that they're as close to a deal as they claim that they are. I'm a little skeptical about it, but they were saying that they might have one as early as this morning. Well, it's almost not this morning anymore, so we'll see. So I'm just looking at the way that I got filled there on that 10.5, and I'm
Lucas says, I
already.
see. Dems are really taking advantage and pushing their agenda on this one.
I don't know. I mean, I see that. Fuck. So you see a point of resistance. It doesn't hold. But not only does it not hold, but they're immediately flushing through me. Well,
Lucas says, oh, I see what you mean, lol.
Now there's some more there at 12. So I kind of want to hold that, but then what? They're going to go beddish again? This is like a buy all the things too. The treasury is moving up.
Lucas says S should be helping you here.
Yeah, and it's not. It's not at all.
AP says, do you think this $2 trillion stimulus pack is going to create a bottom?
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that. I'm not. I've been good at calling tops and bottoms, but I'm
Uzi
not
Knesset says,
one
if
to
Republicans
say
let it
that
go
I
through
think you
with fucking
can.
diversity quotas for company boards, I'ma be pissed, lol.
Like I think my guesses so far have been mostly luck on those sorts of things, at least in equities. The issue that I have,
Lucas says, lol, that'd be crazy.
right? The issue that I have is that you add stimulus, it's not going to change the fact that our medical system is about to get overwhelmed. And I have a really hard time seeing the markets make a significant rally when that's happening. Well, it's just like it just does the exact opposite. It's so funny. And it's not like I'm only playing reversals or I'm only playing continuations. I'm just always wrong in the 10-year right now. You mean he might make a significant turn here? This one is a little off plan. So let's just hold it with one for a little bit. Where's the 2 trillion going? Well, hold on. So for a second, you asked me about the S&P Capital Program. I haven't done that specific one, but I'm not a huge fan of the combines right now, just because I feel like that the targets that they push you for are way too much. Okay. But in this kind of an environment, might be the kind where you might be able to meet those. So there's nothing wrong with hitting for it. But you know what? If you take it a bunch of times and you're not passing it, don't waste your time. They're pushing for a target that's not very realistic, right? So just keep that in mind. That's so. Okay. It's funny when they always come one tick away from it, right? Look at that. They shove it right into me and then they can't get through it. And you think, how can you pick a price that bad? I think I'm suffering from just some, what do we call confirmation bias here? I don't think it's as bad as it is in my head, but it sure is fucking annoying. Is Trump sending that 1,000? I don't know, dude. Like, look, the stimulus bill, what they do, I'm not gonna try and guess what it is or what's gonna pass, because I really don't understand. The whole thing with Nancy yesterday was like, I can't predict it. I don't understand what she's thinking. It seems so illogical to me. Finally.
Twemdog says, Seth, do you think the $1,000 per household is enough or too much or too little?
I think that the impact of consumer spending on GDP is temporary.
Twemdog says per person asterisk.
So the thing is I think the
AP says, is there a crystal method problem in Utah?
No. This is a dumb question. Now you're just asking me silly questions. But you did ask me a serious question that we can get into.
Gary Rich says, I'll make a call. Fade the rallies over the next 2 QTR. Watch for drops of 5% if we get to 2015 lows, buy small, 2012 lows more, 08 lows, buy everything and go on vacation for life.
Man, if they got to 2008 lows, like what the heck? Okay, so when we look at economics, okay, and there's the whole what is his name? Keyes. He invented some economic formulas and multipliers that they use to judge the impact of various economic stimuluses. And those formulas do work. But the issue is that it's temporary and that it just kind of moves demand. So if you're going to give everybody $1,000, they're going to buy things that they wanted to buy anyways. They're just going to buy them sooner, potentially. But it doesn't solve the problem, right? This is where this situation that we're in is so unique. An economic stimulus doesn't change the fact that there's a virus out there and that a lot of people are going to catch it and going to die. And that really the only way to stop it, apparently, is to shut everything down. And businesses are going to are shut, and I'm sure will probably continue to be shut for a while. So you give people a check, does that fix that issue? It really doesn't. So it's nice that we get a check. I will put it into the markets if I get some. But the effect that it can actually have on the economy here is maybe limited, right? Like, basically what you're doing is you're saying, we're going to give you money to help you pay your mortgage until we can get things going again. But until we can actually get things going again, I have a really hard time seeing this market bottoming. And until we're still within these shelter in place orders, I have a really hard time seeing this market making a meaningful rally. Like, you'll see we'll come back up maybe after this stimulus and all of the money that the Fed is putting in, it's looking good. But I still believe that it's limited and that there's a good chance. I can't predict the bottom on this, but I think there's a good chance that we're still going to go lower. And I mean, we continue to go lower or below 2,400. So, that's kind of the where I would be looking at it from. There's just we're in a time period where there's this stuff that we have to get out of the way. It's just like last summer, we had this trade deal thing hovering over our heads. And like, how can you say that the market is going to like overcome that thing until the trade deal is done? And of course, we found out that that's exactly what the case was. But then when the trade deal was done, it was great. And it's going to be the same thing with this. I think that they're probably going to continue to struggle for a while. But then when the virus abates, that the economy will probably come back really hard. And it'll probably be juiced up too much, in fact. So that's kind of my thought on that.
Gary Rich says just wait for this. Congress gets mad on stimulus details and the markets swoosh down 2 to 3%. I've seen this before.
Yeah. We've seen it many times, haven't we, Gary? Like, ever since they figured, it was like everybody figured it out in the 2008 crisis. The politics of brinkmanship. And the markets totally play it up. And there's definitely this thing where you think you're close to a deal, and then all of a sudden at the last second, they yank it away. They've already done this a couple of times, so I understand why the market is hopeful that they're going to have a deal today, and I think that the deal that they're talking about sounds reasonable. Even though I think $1 trillion, $2 trillion is like ridiculous, but hey, listen, that's not my area of expertise. But they could totally come out and again, I can't read Nancy Pelosi's mind. I really can't imagine what she's thinking. But the bill that she put in the House is just like ridiculous. So, I'm seeing buyers make some really weird pushes up.
Bot says, did the reboot resolve your issue with Ninja, or was it something else?
I think that the demo data just with tick replay and everything just gets screwed up from the overnight limits. In order to fix this chart, I had to turn off tick replay. But it turns out that my point of control indicator, which was the only reason I had tick replay on this chart, doesn't need it. So see, this is kind of weird buys coming in that I don't know.
Gary Rich says, tell Congress you don't get paid until a deal is done. Make them feel the pain of citizens they govern over. Pretentious bastards.
I think that Congress knows what the game is just as well as the rest of us do at this point. That's why it's like, I can't really tell if Nancy is really serious about all this stuff that she put in her bill or if this is all just a part of the game for her.
AP says, I think Trump should get 3% of the $2 trillion as commission.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, see, the buyers are like really insistent. Even though this area looks a little congested.
Gary Rich says, I'm good on that suggestion.
This whole thing right here on the one on the range chart. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And now all the way back down again, potentially. E-mini or treasuries did finally come back a little bit. Oh, it's 840. Did not realize. Commission. I mean, you have to wonder what Donald Trump thought when Congress came to him with the suggestions that they had. That it was going to be a $2 trillion stimulus. Because I don't think that even Donald Trump thought that that was ever something that would ever happen. These bulls are just insistent. Kind of changing the technical picture for me, unfortunately. So we scratched that.
AP says, would you like to see Trump get reelected?
Would I like to see him get reelected? Like, listen, doesn't matter what I would like. He's gonna get reelected. There is, in my opinion, which just seems so ridiculous that they put Joe Biden up there.
Gary Rich says, if you see Schumer or Pelosi come out, announce a no deal and sweat. It's bad. Oh wait, lizards and vipers don't sweat. My bad.
So one of the things I thought was funny was that Joe Biden's campaign was saying, oh, he's going to have shadow briefings. Well, I haven't seen the shadow briefings yet. I think that somebody decided that was a dumb idea. And I was already seeing stuff the other day of Joe Biden being Joe Biden. He's a klutz.
AP says, do you use baby powder?
No. Why? Now you're starting to ask. Like, do you think that this is Twitch? You've been around before, though, haven't you, AP?
RJ Wheels says, Biden is just awful. Have you seen clips from digital town halls? Shadow briefs. He was brutal.
Right. Or like is in the middle of the town hall and he like walks off. Like he forgets
RJ
that he's
Wheels
on
says, we
camera
need
or
more
something.
tests. Duh.
I don't know what it's really telling that it ends up being Joe Biden. Of all of the people that ran for president, and then it ends up being Joe Biden. Right? Like Joe Biden
Gary
is
Rich
the
says,
only
Biden is so funny. I get so entertained. I can't get enough of him.
he was like literally the only business acceptable candidate on the Democrat side. It was literally the only one.
RJ Wheels says, one time he motioned with his hand to speed up teleprompter.
Really? I didn't see that one. Oh, look, they're pushing it up again. I've seen this game before.
AP says, you're on Twitch? How many finance streamers are on Twitch?
No. I used to restream it, but I got too many let's just say that the people that were coming in from Twitch weren't making the channel better. So we stopped streaming over there. But then YouTube comes over here and throttles us. What the heck? We're throttled. We are banned from search. Live streams, at least. You can see past streams, but you can't see the current live stream. Jeez. And see, here's this annoying game is like, okay. Do I buy it here? Or am I wrong? It's too difficult to pick a range in the E-mini right now.
AP says, what was the reason YouTube throttled you?
Nobody knows. Oh, no, we know. An earthquake happened during the stream. And for whatever reason, that ended up flagging us. Hmm. Still being a little difficult here.
AP says, can't you call them up and ask them to undo it?
No, are you kidding me? YouTube is so unresponsive on those sorts of things. I tell you what, we had a video somebody posted that is kind of like running a
Lucas
scam.
says, Seth.
Yeah, it isn't working, is it? If I'm loaded up, I could risk that, right? But we've just got to puke this. And actually reverse.
Ace Trade says at AP, yes, call 1-800-EAT-SHIT and they will get right on it.
YouTube is, so we had a video that was clearly against YouTube's terms of service, and I reported it, and I know lots of people reported it. They didn't do shit. They didn't do a darned thing about it. And then we're not doing anything wrong, and they shadow ban. It's ridiculous.
Lucas says, did you notice how MES is trading very close to the same volume S is trading at some prices?
Totally
More
right.
people are trading MES thanks to this madness.
I think you're totally right. So this one, it looks to me like I was too late. Maybe it'll run, but it looks like too late.
Gary Rich says YouTube just patches you to the suicide hotline number. Lol.
They're just not very responsive with their community. It's like, I mean, and here's the thing: is the only reason we knew we were shadow banned was because the robots stopped working. They didn't send me a notification or anything. They don't tell me why. It's a total. I mean, come on. It's so shady, right? I mean, like, we're a small channel. It doesn't matter because we still get the 24 viewers that we get every day, anyways. But can you imagine if you were
Lucas says, what happened?
You were like making this your living and they shadow ban you and they don't tell you. So Lucas, if you go to YouTube and you just search for my name, you won't see this live stream. And this has been happening since Thursday after the earthquake stream. Okay. Well, that's good. This one is starting to turn really hard.
Lucas says, why? Is it because your political views or something? AP
No.
says maybe it's because you keep talking about your method use. It certainly doesn't help.
No, I'm pretty sure that it was the earthquake. You had an unusually high number of viewers, and YouTube seems to have this thing about using current events that they don't like. So, because an earthquake happened and I put it in the title, that seems to. And then the thing is that it could have just been a robot that did it. So now the thing that's really annoying is like you don't even get to know. Like, so can we just keep streaming and eventually it'll fix itself? I don't know. Or is it going to be like this forever and there's like no point in me streaming to YouTube anymore? I should start. We should just all go somewhere else, like Facebook. I don't think Facebook would do that. Okay, that was a pretty. I think when I got that 200, I should have taken them all off.
AP says, what's the AVG volume in the S versus the MES?
I don't know. We could go to the CME and look. Thing is it's not like comparing them directly doesn't really make a whole lot of sense anyways, because there's so much less risk anyways. So E-mini, there is...
Gary Rich says YouTube used to be so fun in the early days. Wild West. Twitter the same.
Micro, E-mini. Oh, it's still almost half. You're right. Probably a lot of people did move over to the MES though. Oh, hey, look, it filled our order. Okay, well, with that one, I think, yeah, that puts us positive. In MES, at least. Treasuries, still not my thing. Well, not my thing. I mean, it is my thing, but I just don't have a handle on what it's doing right now. And you're right, Gary, that the one that bothers me the most is Twitter. Like when we were talking stocks the other day, one of the ones that John pulled up to me was Twitter, and I'm like, I really don't think I want to be in Twitter, because when all those private equity firms came in and said we want to get rid of...
AP says it's so much more expensive to trade MES.
Hell, who cares? Listen, the amount that you're paying in the commissions compared to the tick, it doesn't matter. But if you have a profitable trade strategy, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. It's like $1 per order. $1 per order on something where you're potentially making $100 on a turn. You know, like with ES, your potentials to catch runners just far outweigh whatever you're going to pay in commissions. You could have the commission could be twice what it is now, and it would still be worth trading it. It would probably still be like your best option. Now, I'm disappointed with the treasuries. Like, the thing that bothers me the most about that treasury was that I can't even like risk to. Well, maybe I should I think I can turn like my regular stop back on. But anyways, somebody I think should be about to die here in a second. Oh, maybe because we didn't have it on for a bit. It's going to go a little bit longer.
AP says, why are you thinking in terms if runners? Shouldn't you be scalping? Gary Rich says, I used to get into it with soccer moms. They complained about Happy Meal toys, their kids want it. I said, you are living the dream job, go back and forth. Then delete my tweets. So funny.
Right? Well, like I mean, we are scalping, but a runner is still like, if it goes more than 2 points and the average range is like 6, then you're gonna get runners. That's just the way it is. And the thing is that your ability to hold a certain point of risk is so hard right now that you kind of have to have them, and that's how we're able to pull it out, right? It's like, look, you got a lot of little losers, but then your big winners end up making it up. And that's how it works in this one. Normally, okay, so there now it finally died. Normally, you would want to have more like a 50% win rate, but that's in a normal environment where you could actually hold a stop. Can't do that right now. No, so Gary, like, it really is, to me, weird the change that's happened on Twitter. And like, the thing is like, for instance, Periscope's is not a bad idea. And there's all this stuff going on with live streaming, and they could have really have started to dominate the live streaming space, and they just wasted it. And meanwhile, Facebook is out buying up Instagram, and TikTok is taking off, and all these other social networks, and Twitter doesn't do anything. They say, we want to invest in our core use case, which means, like, what? What are you doing to improve Twitter? They just building out more infrastructure or something? I don't know. But all I know is that investors probably aren't getting their money's worth out of Twitter right now. And I thought that when those investors came in and said that they were going to try and do a takeover, that it made absolute sense, that there is a lot of unlocked value in Twitter that could come if they had a different CEO. But then instead they said, well, we'll work together with them. And so I don't know. Like, I wouldn't buy it. That doesn't mean that it won't work out well in the end, but I wouldn't. I can't buy that one because of it. And the thing on Twitter, it's like, totally, yeah, they'll shadow ban you, like, just straight up. Nobody can see any of your stuff. It's so it makes me mad that you can get banned from an essential public forum, essentially. An essential public forum, essentially. And they don't even have to tell you. And you can just continue using it and not know, So jacked up. And then, over here, we put all this effort into the channel, and we finally catch a good break. And what do they immediately do? They shadow ban you and nerf the channel. So all that, you catch your big break, and it was the worst thing to happen. How did you know if you get shadow banned? I go and search and I don't show up. The way that I know is because I have this robot that was reading your comments out, and the way that it finds out the ID for the stream chat is it has to search, on Twitter for live videos run by me. And since I'm banned from search, it couldn't find them. And so my robot was erroring out. And that's how we knew immediately that we had been shadow banned. So. Seth, now that you're trading the ES more, you should really consider the tick indicator. Those results would be in reverse of what you just showed. Maybe. Hey, Seth. Hey, Jason, how did you find me, by the way? Because we're shadow banned. You shouldn't be able to find me. But we were just talking about that. But we have seen some new people come in today. So I don't know how you guys find it, but I love it. And the 20 or so of you that are here every day, which is great too. I do not trade CL. CL is like a nightmare for me. And I'm honestly really only trading ES at the moment because of this risk environment. Like, in ES, I can take these little scalps in micros and the runners and everything. Whereas if it was in the treasuries, the liquidity and everything else about the treasuries just makes it untradeable for me right now. Normally, I would prefer to be in the treasuries. I also didn't see you earlier this morning like usual. Yeah, they're not going to show you. I'm not going to show up on your front page anymore. Maybe after, because it seems like after the videos upload that those aren't throttled, but the live streams are. Now maybe, I guarantee it. With the tick, well, when we looked at it, we could get tick for $5 more. We should change it. I wonder how I do that, actually. Let's go into to amp and see if I can find anything. Okay. Maybe it's under a platform setup. Let's see. Which data feed? Bundle. Special 300-day trading margins for the uni. No, I don't see. Does the Rhythmic just not offer it? You see there? Oh, well, let's change this to the United States. Doesn't show up down there. What about CQG? Oh, now you can get it with CQG. So that's the issue. The Rhythmic apparently doesn't support it or something. If you know anything about that, let me know. Seth is canceled by YouTube. Yeah, we're not canceled. We're here every day, no matter what. I'm just really wondering if I should try to start streaming it through Facebook. I've been sampling the different futures products, and I find ES to be too aggressive in Z and a bit slow, struggling to find a happy medium. Well, right now, yeah. NASA is already catching it right now. Markets are not behaving normally. A month ago, ES would be the one to trade if you were new. And why don't you use the heat map anymore? Oh, well, so I still got that thing. Oh, where did it go? Maybe I closed it. I guess I did close it. You know what? I really like this thing that I've got going on here. This has been really helpful. So I want to keep this up. I still have this heat map. But like, look at it. It's like in this environment, the heat map, the jigsaw heat map is like useless. I don't know if, maybe a book map would be better. I've been shown some screenshots of book map and it seems to be better in that respect, but I'm not so focused on that anyways, I'm more of a dom. One of the interviews in Market Wizards swears by the tick. See, I don't even know how to use it. It looks like the Matrix. Yeah, I use green because it's easier to tell the difference between the colors. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I don't know. Well, hold up. Because the thing is that, I don't know if the tick would really help with the strategy that I'm trying to use. Honestly, right now, I'm using my strategy more as a guide because, man, the way that they behave is just really weird right now. Normally, I'd just be trying to catch 8 ticks off of it. $10 would be great. I don't know. Someday, it'll come back. For now, though, we continue doing this. I've been doing okay. In fact, we could go and look at some stats. Let's try and see if we can pull up the stats and see how bad or awful it is. it might be the case that after commissions it's not so great. But let's just do this month. Cool. And I want to separate it out by instrument, so only MES. Cool. So according to this, I've made $5,000 off of MES just trading micros. Multiple contracts on micros, but according to this, I'm doing really well. Let's go and look at some stats though. Where is it? Stats. I've had 13 consecutive losers in a row during that time period. Wow. Not that many scratch trades. I'm only hitting a 33% win rate too. But look, the profit factor is still 1.5. That's not bad. And that should include the commissions too, right? Does it? Let's see here. Oh, it is not. Really? Why not? I have it set up to do it. Maybe it only does it on that one account. Okay, so now we have to go and look. Number of trades, 291. Oh, it's still profitable. Dang. I'm impressed. Really didn't think that it would be that great. But it's probably a couple of it, like that day, the 16th, yeah. I think that was one of the days where I had some trades that like would never have happened in real. Never would have happened real like that. Oh, here we go. Average winning trade is $143. Really? Oh, but my average loser is 50. Okay. Hey, no, I'm keeping it good. Even though I haven't been holding like a strict stop, I have been getting out generally where I need to and getting, to hold the 1.5 profit factor, which is about what I want. 1.5 to 2 is the goal. So I'm impressed, but some of those trades are not realistic. Like some of those ones where we were screwing around with the open, the overnight limit stuff. 33% wisdom. That's awesome. 1 for you, 2, 3 for them. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's two ways of doing it, right? You can have like an equal risk reward and like a 60% win rate. You can have, maybe a risk reward of like 1.5 and hit 40 to 50, 45 to 50. Or you can have the 30% win rate and catch the runners. I feel like that in the E-mini, especially in an environment like this, that you're more likely to get the 30%. And that's what happened. So the stats don't surprise me, but you're right. It's a lot in commissions. That's like $300 in commissions for them. So whatever. I just feel like that for winging it, I'm happy about it. I would not consider those to be realistic results, though. Like, no way it would be 5,000. You likely improve those stats if you focus more on trading and less on streaming, Channer? Yeah, maybe. I mean, right now I've really been on up until Thursday, I was really like, hey, markets are crazy. I can't really trade it. Here's a good chime to really build the channel up a little bit. Now that it's not, it's kind of like, okay, well, we can go back to focusing on trying this trade. But I'm still not seeing favorable conditions for the trade that I want. Because the trade that I want, I'm only looking to take 8. And I can't do that if it's going to go, 10 points against me sometimes. So I don't know what to do. I think we probably will just continue to stream here and hope that it works itself out eventually. Who knows how long you can be streaming and be shadow banned. The other thing that's really frustrating is like, how do you get people to care? Nobody cares. I mean, I know you guys, some of you guys do care, but it's not like we go and we make a post on Reddit and Reddit's going to be like, oh yeah, that guy totally shouldn't be shadow banned from live. No, they're going to go and watch this and they're going to say, oh, he trades. We hate that. He understands how business work. Is that your new indicator from YouTube is here? Are you actually getting the button where it won't let you subscribe to bell notifications? I've been told that can happen. Man, that'd be super lame if that was the case. But I think I'm shadow banned. I think that there's no legitimate reason for me to be shadow banned from chat, from search. I think that it's disgusting that they can do it and not tell you, not even tell you what you did wrong, that an algorithm can do it to you, and nobody cares. It's like YouTube's just doing this thing and everybody's just like, yeah, that's YouTube. Essential public forum. Shouldn't be allowed to do that. All right, so anyways, you know what, John? I really don't think that. I think that there are a couple of winners that I miss sometimes, but sometimes when I'm like more focused, I just make more mistakes. It's not that. No, it's not that. It's knowing when to really take it. I don't know. It's promising so far. We got something, and we have some things that show us imbalances. We didn't really get them today, though, did we? I kind of knew when it was time for them to turn around in the E-mini, but I didn't really get any of those bar setups that I wanted. Yeah. Well, like I said, like if I was gonna trade these live, I wouldn't trade these live. No way. Not when they're hitting a limit. Like to me, I think that my rule should be that if we've hit a circuit breaker, that you just don't trade. Speaking of winners, isn't it time to check in on the baby? Maybe show him off. Well, he's probably eating right now. Plus, I probably should get going. Get ready for work. I'm gonna have to. Oh man, I've been trying to work hard, and I was like yesterday. I was like, okay, well, doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of stuff on the docket right now. So while you guys are working on that, I'm gonna go and look at this other thing, and maybe we can turn that into a ticket. And then I went and I did the investigation, and it turned out that the thing that we wanted to do, I found an easy way to do it. And so I just knocked it off right there. And so there was something that I thought would maybe occupy me for a few days. Nope. You act like I care if he is eating. We would all be eating if we could get away with it. Get that darn kid, or we will all hold our breath. Oh, I would not take him. I would not take him away when he's on the boob, man. That is all. Like, here's the thing. He has two modes right now. There is, he's on the boob, and he's quiet and he's happy. Even if he's not eating, he just suck on it. Or that's A. Or B, he has this face like this. Like he resents you so much for bringing him into this world and not having him on the boob. He just, that's all he does. Yesterday, I finally did get him to lay. I don't know why he was laying on his back in my arms, and he was sleeping for a while, but then it was like, I don't think that he was on there very good because it was hurting my arm, and it must be hurting his head too. And then he woke up and he wouldn't go back to sleep. But I got him to calm down by putting a binky in, and he just laid on his side and stared at me for 30 minutes. Which I thought was funny. I watched StarCraft. That's what I've been doing to keep myself busy, is to watch ASL. Oh, it's good stuff. The boob is life. That really is for that kid, man. Like, that's all he lives for. I'm telling you, his face, he looks like he resents you for something. I can't explain it, but it's just like permanently on there. No, it's the Africa StarCraft League. You search for the YouTube channel Africa, Afreeca. It's like a Japanese. It's like it's a Korean esports channel, and they have an American version. And you can watch the pros play StarCraft Brood Roar, and I love it. I find it so entertaining, and the casters are so much fun. Yeah, I really enjoy watching, especially when the Zerg win. I'm always a Zerg fan, and when the Zerg win, I'm enjoying it. Hmm. Well, I don't know what the Emin is going to do. They're, I mean, they pushed higher there. They seem kind of lackadaisical, like they're just waiting or something. Well, maybe they go up there again. That's not like we're that far. Ever wonder when they sign language at those press conferences? Maybe they are secret. No. You seen that video of the lady that was doing the sign language at the press conference and really trying to show the emotion that Donald Trump has when he talks? So funny. Although I have to say, a lot of people seem to read way more into emotion than. Oh, okay, cool. I went and I had, so in Utah, I just got an email. In Utah, they're like gonna redo caucuses. They're gonna reuse the same delegates from last time because we can't meet together as a neighborhood because of the coronavirus. And I went and I called everybody, but then I guess the vice chair of the district also went and did all that. So everybody got called twice. Well, whatever. Oh, now they are doing it. Maybe not. What about on an hourly basis? I mean, more insight on an hourly basis. So they could potentially turn down. They could. Well, it'll end at the bottom of the hour. Okay. So the market is consolidating significantly. Oh, there was a 3,000 iceberg at 13.5. See, man, I'm like really scattered brain, aren't I? Man. The lady that the press conference sign language thing, and it turned out she was faking it. The deaf people went nuts. No one else knew. Interesting. So they were like paying her, and that she didn't even know sign language. Oh, Bing. They have really consolidated here now at 70. So if they turn here, and I think that they might wait 10 minutes, but then after 10 minutes they might turn, and it might be a significant turn, and they could maybe continue up a little bit. Although I have to say that the market's being up over 5% in one day always just seems way excessive to me. But yes, I am being really scatterbrained. But the thought that it was coming to me was, You know, I've been trying to do the icebergs and they're going through them. That's the problem. Oh, you're going to take that short? So I have a question for you, Ace. When you use a 10-minute chart, how do you read the trend on the 10-minute chart? Like, is it like current bar is red versus green? So that last bar was actually positive. That last bar, at least. And then the one before that was down. So I don't really get a trend. So I'm surprised to hear that you're taking a trade. Okay, so you say the color of the current candle, because that candle is blue. Yeah, it was good for a few. Sure. That candle, so do you see this indicator that you probably haven't seen this, but maybe it'll be useful to you. I'll post the link for you again. This one right here, copy link. I'll show you how to use it. So you come in here to your chart and you say my data series. So like I have a 1-minute chart, and then you add another one and you add a 10-minute, and then you add my multi-period candles. It also depends on the 10 or 30-minute. Okay, sure. Okay, so it is a little bit more than that. Anyways, I add that on there. Oh my gosh, my mouse just died for a second. My USB hub flipped on me for some reason. That was weird. Okay, so then anyways, you have to restart NinjaTrader after you install it for it to show up. Okay. But you do the multi-period candle, and then you get this candle that expands, and I can see what the high and low and open close were. So I can not only can I see that 10-minute candle overlaid on there, but I can see, when it's going to turn red or whatever. So I don't know if that helps you, but that's what I was doing. Is I was saying, if this is red, then I'll take it short. And that's why it was that last one. I was like, well, it's blue. So, hey, look. Now they're really blue. Yabba-dee. Yabba-die. Oh, we got 8 minutes. Let's see how far we can make the market move against us, huh? They're still kind of consolidating, but they're consolidating higher. Oh, the blue is like a candle, more like a zone. Yeah, well, it is literally a candle. I'm just not drawing it with a wick. Depending on how you set it up, you can have it draw like a wick. So if I come in here and I just make my wick width 10, now you see a wick there, right? But I turn the wick off, and then there's this box high-low that makes it so that there's a box around the high and the low. See that? Gets rid of it. But I like it. Oh, with the outline width should be 1. Wick width should be 0. There you go. You get it like that. So why is there 2 blue areas? They both stand for a long bias. This is just the current 10-minute bar, and this is the previous 10-minute bar. And let me show it to you a different way. So here's a different chart, right? Data series. And I will add, yes, 10-minute multi-period candles. So far, this isn't going so well. Color for up bars, I will make blue, and down bars I will make red, rather. Red and blue. I like to have them to be different colors from my other thing. Anyways, okay. So now you get bars down there, you see? And then I just click and drag it up here. And now they draws candles behind my primary data series. Yeah. Cool. It is cool, yeah. I'm pretty when we got it, it was pretty simple when John asked for it, and when I started doing it, and I'm using it, the more I'm like, wow, this is really slick. Like everybody should have this. Everybody should have this. Okay, I can see how someone can like that. Yeah. For some people, it might be too much noise for sure. But I like it because it allows me to see everything that I really want on one chart, right? I mean, I still have this one over here for the heck of it, but I've been using this one range, right? And I have kind of all of my points and everything on here. I can see it's blue. I can see that we're staying above the moving average. It's long. And I think they're going to go to, well, not only that, but we kind of have a bar setup too, because the previous hour was an inside bar. And when 9:30 comes along, they're going to come in and they're going to try and move it one way or the other. Agreed. I need to do that as well. Instead of looking over at the longer time frame candle, it's right there, same place exactly. Yeah. So I gave you the link there so you can download it into your NinjaTrader if you're using it, if you're still opening up Ninja. By the way, you use CQG, don't you? Do you get the tick? Do you get the tick data? Because live action keeps trying to, telling me how much how I would benefit from using the tick. And but I don't get it on Rhythmic. And I think that to get it, I would have to switch over to CQG data and pay $5 more. Hey. Okay. 3 minutes more, though. Ooh. Oh, I hate those. So that was right there was just, they just stopped out a bunch of retail traders. So shady. Like you'll see the run here in the MES and not in the ES. So shady. Every time I see that, that's my first thought is, oh, they're just fucking everybody over. You can get the tick with the basic subscription to Kinetic. The end of day stuff? What is the symbol? Tick index? I bet you it won't give me 1 minute though. It'll maybe give me like the previous day. Close, yeah. Definitely doesn't do it on a 1 minute. Oh. Oh. So it does do it on a daily. But not on lower time frame. Symbol in Ninja is tick. Yeah, but they're saying that you can look and see whether the tick is increasing or decreasing and use that to determine as a filter for your trades. I bet you might get it. Well, no, you still have to pay for it. But you're using NinjaTrader brokerage. I don't know what they do for that. So maybe you would get it from NinjaTrader brokerage. So that has just opened up old school. What, the tick? I don't know. I do see a lot of index traders do use it. I know that you need the basic monthly subscription to get it in real time. What is the... Okay, so let's look. Kinetic. Kinetic market data. Real-time and historical market data. Professional market data at half the cost, only $65 a month. No. Let's see here. Are you paying $65 a month for your data? That's too much, dude. That's too much. Okay, well, here's 9:30. Not cooperating with me. You can't go super cheap on data, and you can't go super. I don't know. There's some data packages out there that I feel like are not worth what they're charging. It's better than IQ feed at 149 a month, right? IQ feed is definitely better data, though, right? I forget. Who do you have to use to get IQ feed? Because you can use IQ feed in Jigsaw, can't you? We'll try it. New. Oh, I don't know. Oh, here we go. New. Yeah, you can do IQ feed. IQ feed, rhythmic, CQG, Tradeovate. That's another one that I should maybe try is the Tradeovate data. Kinetic is IQ feed rebranded for NinjaTrader. Oh, really? I wish I could have cheap data. Those were the days. Well, I tell you what, Rhythmic does a pretty good job. I just only get the CME data, and I don't know why they don't offer more. It's like I put a limit order out there. They're fighting me now. Well. Now they're saying, Seth, you waited too long. Shoot. Well. I'd give it another minute or two here. Same place, same short. Yeah, you would have gotten a little bit out of it. It's not being terribly cooperative for catching a runner, though. Well, I mean, that one. Question is, where do you take it off? You just put one down here at 25, maybe. Say if I catch 25, that's good enough. Take the point and be happy, yeah. I think on most of these, if I kept a wide enough stop, that I would get the point. Like on this one, I really should have had the 2 points offered. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll go and do it this time. if I really believe that it's going to fill me, I should just cancel it because they're almost certain to go through me. Like for quite a bit. Yeah, so they're filled, but I bet you there's another 2 points in it. Are you working from home for the foreseeable future? Yes. So we always have meeting at 9:45. That's when I gotta get off. I wanted to see that one go. So we took it off at 81.25. There was at least one more point in it. See what I'm looking at. You know what? I need to add another chart. I feel like I need to add another chart. New tab. And let me just fix it up right for you first. $60-minute bar. Okay. And we'll add these funky things on here. Where are they? These things. Okay, cool. Oh, so it actually wasn't. Maybe I was reading it wrong. I was thinking this hour is inside. Oh, you know what? It was inside. Wait a second. I need the right. I'm just gonna have to reload here. Better. Okay. Now I got it. Okay, so here you got an hour. Inside bar. Consolidation. They're gonna make a decision. The trend is up, so they're more likely to come out the top here, I think. And if they go, it could be pretty good up. You know. At least put a tie on, let them know they still control you from a distance. No. You know what? When I interviewed there, they were like, just come business casual. Like, okay. They insisted on being casual there. That was the culture they wanted, I guess. Anyways, my reading is that probably we're going to move up. And if we do move up, I think there's a little volume node at 24.14. And then there's this one at 24.35. Then there's this high up here at 24.98. Although I don't think we'll get quite that far. But who knows? Maybe Nancy Pelosi will come out and say something stupid and ruin it all. You never know. Does Wix tell you a lot of information if you know what to look for? Yeah, maybe. Which one was it again? It was over here. Oh, right here. You're definitely seeing a situation where the bears can't seem to hold price. I'm starting to notice, I always thought that, hey, where a candle ends at doesn't really tell you a whole lot. But I'm starting to find that the market cares. And that there are traders out there that very clearly start taking trades to try and force it to end in a certain spot. It was really weird when I first started noticing that, but they totally do it. Just like here in the last 10 minutes, right? As soon as that hour flipped, somebody tried selling it and they didn't get very far and then they bought. They totally play those hour, at the bottom of the hour in particular. In the E-mini. Okay. I'm yapping. I will see you guys tomorrow. And I think that's about it. Thank you guys for keeping me company. You guys are so great. The market is calming down a little bit, so we might be able to trade a little bit more seriously. We'll see. But tomorrow, Wednesday, another day. We'll see if if they get it done. Let's see if they get it done. All right. See you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable.